My name is Hyun Kyung CHAE. In this presentation, I will explore how effective the two innovative retrieval methods are in searching similar music sources in a vast music database. These techniques have been developed while establishing a music database of modern East Asia called Ewha Music Database. These two techniques are highly useful to investigate musical changes and relation of music from one another in a highly complex music cultural contents. Thus, they can allow us to understand much music transmission and music route within and beyond the region of East Asia. My talk will consist of the three sections, following a brief introduction of the historical as well as the socio-political context of East Asia of the modern times. I will discuss the significance of EMDB in education and research of the modern music of East Asia. Then at last, the two innovative techniques will be discussed with specific musical examples. First, let me just briefly talk about historical and the socio-political context of East Asia. The EMDB is the first attempt of including music of the region, namely China, Japan, and Korea, as a whole rather than an individual one, reflecting such intertwined socio-political circumstance of the region. Nations in the region constituted one cultural unit, often called Chinese character cultural sphere. In linguistic terms, Sinosphere, for they historically all used the Chinese characters in their own words. These three nations, all geographically situated in the northern part of Asia, have shared the much connected experience of political as well as societal changes throughout their history. Yet at the turn of the century, they were more intertwined as the West became another crucial factor in the region. As one can see in my next PPT, sharing cultural and socio-political experience of many events took place in the region. Japan's Meiji Restoration in 1868, the conflict between China and Japan starting in 1894, known as the First Sino-Japanese War, and the Russo-Japanese War during 1904 and 5, which Korea was deeply involved with and which was a possible cause for the First World War in 1914, all had changed the lives of people not only within but beyond the region. People at the time may not have realized how deep and permanent the influence of the West in the region was. In fact, the resulting changes, which have often been called modernization or westernization, have had a serious impact on the daily life of the people in the region ever since to the present. One of the most pronounced changes manifested in the music of the region is that the term music now denotes music based on Western music elements, while music with native musical idioms is referred to differently. In case of Korea, we use the adjective national to identify Korean music. As mentioned above, it is imperative to study modern East Asian in an integrated method due to their complex nature of their specific time in history. However, researches on East Asian music of the time is a latecomer to the academic field. One can easily speculate about political reason for this trend, but the simple lack of availability of primary sources from the region has a lot to do with the lack of scholarship in the region. That is the reason that the Ewha Music Research Institute started to collect and digitize music textbooks in the region since November 2011. And the database EMDB, containing music primary sources of the first half of the 20th century, was established in October 2014. As the first of this magnitude in the region by including the music of East Asia as a whole, the EMDB is highly significant for East Asian music scholarship in the wide scope and its research implications. While some difficulties in categorizing all the music sources of the three nations all the collected materials are largely divided into 5 categories. First, textbooks. Second, pedagogic books. Third, anthologies of diverse genres. Fourth, theoretical writings. And the last, hymns and sacred music. And comparing how these sources were used and functioned in each culture not only reveals similarities and differences in music styles and practices of the time, but also provides us with an understanding of our current musical behavior and phenomenon. In addition, many shared repertoires among the nations in the EMDB revealed much more transmission and plausible music route within and beyond the region to manifest much intertwined socio-political stance of the region and beyond. While documenting some of the shared repertoire in the region, we are discovering that some songs have origins as far as Europe and the United States, forming a global route. And some musical sources and written documents clearly evidence that relationship. Hymns and folk songs were introduced from England, France, and Scotland, while Germany had the most prominent influence on school songs. The same tune, but in different text. Now, let's take an example of a song called Butterfly. The title of a song changes depending on one's cultural background, from Nabiya, butterfly in Korea, to Chocho in Japan, to Bosong in China. It will be identified as lightly row of the song that taught in the public school system of the United States as well. And it can also be found in the music textbooks of Germany. It's prepared by a famous violin teacher, Christian Heinrich Hofmann. But the melody was not composed by Hofmann. It was originated from folk melody, My Lied or Hansen Klein. Now the last part of my talk. Okay, the 2 innovative techniques. Upon finding many similar repertoires in the database, we came up with more systematic methods that can perform a wider and more thorough search in a vast amount of a repertoire. The first method is called music search method based on music incipit and music search system based on music incipit. Incipit is the main music idea usually located in the beginning of a piece to show the uniqueness or identity of the piece. Current search methods of a music database are limited by users entering composers' names, titles, and other direct information of the musical works in the search field. However, EMDB's incipit retrieval of a piece in a large quantity of music sources is much thorough and wider in searching. For example, the butterfly song, which I mentioned before as one of the common repertoires, the tune is, as you can see in the PPT, it's a G, E, E, F, G, D, C, D, E, F, G, G, G of the East Asian, can be found in 30 different sources, the total record 30. If I may briefly explain the process of retrieval method, the first 8 measures of a piece can be registered by alphabets. For example, Do is C, Le is D, Mi is E, and so on. Then for the retrieval of the incipit, user can enter alphabetized opening phrase in the search box. Thus, users can easily find a great deal more works through the incipit search, and this method allows researchers to find the music transmission and music route more easily. Okay, these are the examples of the source that you can find in the EMDB. This is Korean source. As you can see, it's same melodic figure. And this is the case of China source. Oh, and then also there is a source of Japan as well. And these evidence the musical transmission within the region. The second search technique is called finding similar music scores and predicting melodic progress by extracting melodic signature patterns in score database. It utilized the concept of a melodic trajectory of a music notes. From the melodic trajectory, the cluster signature can be produced to search for similar musical ideas. It is different from the first method of the in-speech search, as it searches similar musical ideas throughout a piece. Not limited to the beginning, it can also predicting the ensuing melody ideas by analyzing the trajectories. Musical examples in the following. Okay, here, and then I will show the several different ways of searching similar patterns. This one is music with a modified note sequence. So it doesn't have all the notes from the pattern C, D, E, F, G, G, A, A, A. There are some notes are not there. However, still this similar search can identify. The next one is also the music with the omitted notes from the search sequence, and still it can identify it with some omitted notes. And this third example is music with the different time durations from the search sequence. As you can see, it's in the beginning, but and the time changes greatly. Music becomes a lot faster. Okay, and then this is the last search result. Here, as you can see, this one still has the melodic trajectory pattern, the identifiable pattern. However, it is not in the beginning of the piece, it's the middle of the piece. So actually similar search can occur in any part of the piece. We are now expanding the EMDB, including the music of the second half of the 20th century since December 2014. When it is completed in November 2017, a comprehensive picture of modern music of East Asia will provide more in-depth knowledge of music and its impact on us. The EMDB of a vast array of music sources of East Asia in one place and the two innovative techniques derived from it certainly enhance our research and education of East Asian music, placing us as the center of knowledge production and discourses. I strongly believe that the impact of establishing a database of East Asian music of the modern times, as in the EMDB, is much more profound than any other types of musical achievement, as it opens a new opportunity to rewrite global music history, ultimately to reconstruct the general human history. Thank you very much for listening.